All right, ladies and gentlemen, recap time. I will make Foggy found his way. The top lines, go ahead and pause. And pause. 60-second day will be near the top. There you go. Okay, and there's your recap. Let's get back to the rest of the party, shall we?
Good.
And I return. Recap recorded, and we are on the internet.
Hello, internet.
I watched it about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Good.
Good.
All right.
So
Nice and
So
fresh
it's
in your
fresh
mind.
in your mind.
Yeah. We got
So,
there.
yeah, before we start, Rasa does get the chance to mention if she did anything of note on the prior day, or again, send anything to the primary DM if it's secret.
Nothing secret, and off the literal top of my head, it was probably kind of what you were alluding to, or whoever was alluding to, where she went into royalty mode, where she's not allowed to show much emotion, so she kind of goes into what can I do to make things still run here vibe. But she would be there mainly for moral support for people and feels her own feelings in her own time, kind of,
Compartmentalize and manage.
until alone. But yes.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So we will officially begin in the very early morning of day 62. The sun hasn't risen yet. It's still on the darker side of things, but it's kind of that gray twilight before the sun comes up, and you have all experienced a shared vision from the Veiled One, and you all kind of wake up abruptly from that. You all hear Maev screaming. How do you all deal with that?
First, I assume we did long rest. Yes, I did not long rest, but myself.
Yes, everybody long rests.
I think Dusk would leap out of bed and run to obviously Maev, screaming because, well, it's the first thing that comes to his mind is that someone else experienced it too, and so he'll run over and be Maev. Maev, did you dream like I did? Did you fly through the air?
And the screaming probably subsided as you came into the room, and she's just kind of staring at the ground. And it was like the bad one, and then it wasn't the bad one, and then Earth, fire, hat, Earth. We have to go.
Yes, yes, and he's gonna take Maev's head, and his head's like, let's lock it in. We got a place to be, or we don't know where yet, but something about 10 days.
Is there a chance, and I have no idea what kind of role it would be, but is there a chance that Maev knows exactly where we need to go, or at least remembers the path that we followed in the dream
Right.
thing?
Last session was kind of a doozy, but at the end of the session, I did mention you can remember every part of the dream very clearly. There's no role needed to try to remember things, especially the actual wording from the goddess. But you can very much remember with perfect clarity, as one might say, the entire flight.
Okay.
Right.
And just throwing the wording back in the chat.
Rasa is probably there's a whole lot of not fucking again with the dream thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because she was one of the longest to deal with it last time. And so there is some like PTSD-esque kind of BS that is going on in terms of I'm blindly once again following a vision, and that was really bad kind of shit. So she's probably not the happiest of campers this morning.
Understandable.
Right. Everybody awake!
This is probably the point at which Foggy elbows his own door open and there's like a big tell me I'm not the only one who heard all of that or saw all of it. You know what I mean.
No, brother, you're
And
not alone. It looks like destiny is calling us once again.
And you're both like essentially shoulder checked by Maiev as she goes in to gather all of Snaps's equipment to put into the bag of holding to take with us because we're fixing this.
That's
Foggy's helping you
sounds like
gather shit.
that's what it's like. Well, after all that, here we go. Grumpy Dragon. Lady Rasa.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Oh boy, that's a long trip. And Dusk is like, okay, wait, is that only way we can get there is by going over land, or maybe we can go by around or by water?
Mm.
He's contemplating that idea, just like a long haul for 10 days, maybe. But well, then again, we did basically go around the whole place in 10 days, just traveling
Wait,
time.
where Samity says, where are we where are we going? What's happening? It's early. The sun's not even up yet. Why are you guys up? And what's Maiev yelling about?
And she'll probably like burst out of Foggy's room, like run smack into him because the shield is probably up in her face and just boom. Damn it, sorry, Foggy.
Move.
Hi.
You're good. Go.
And morning, I think, as she runs past Amity and like lovingly places everything down on one of the couches in there, and then we'll come back and we are going to fix this. You and the boys have to make sure that there's cheese when we come back with Snaps. And she's gonna just kind of she's definitely finding things to gather to keep herself busy until we are ready to go. Because we need to go and we need to go now.
Yes.
And Samity just looks at Dusk kind of scared and worried and leans in and whispers, "Did she forget?"
No. No.
Dusk would sort of chuckle and be like, no, she didn't forget Samity. You see, the veiled one, right? The god that Snaps was partial to,
Foggy's
yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
Well, the veiled one saw fit to give us all a vision last night simultaneously. That essentially told us that, hey, I'm cool if you can fish this cat out of the river, but you gotta come get her. And as I like mix my accents, but you only have a 10-day window to do it. So we're in a hurry to try and get on the road because we were given the path to follow, and it's a long trip.
Okay,
So,
I'll go get the boys and we'll pack some food for you.
oh, that would be grand. Thank you very much, Samity.
Great. And she is off.
And Dusk will just focus on the horses at the moment, just getting the horses ready.
Now, we could leave one of the boys out there helping with the horses if you want.
Well, Dusk won't know what to do with himself.
Yeah,
He's got-
okay. We'll go help
He'll
with the
grab his
horses.
bag, which is still mostly packed anyways, and he hasn't really actually unpacked yet at all. So he's ready to go.
If Rasa has not emerged yet, Maya
No,
will.
Rasa has, and she is grumpy PTSDing over visions while sleeping.
Okay.
Those are all way too happy.
And I think being the one of us who's been with Maya the longest, you know that she's because you're also perceptive as fuck. You can tell she's covering up, or trying to at least, just exactly how utterly freaked out she is right with you with the PTSD thing. Even though you experienced those dreams longer, she wholeheartedly flipped the fuck out. Like, oh fuck, it's happening again. No, we did it, we fixed it, we fixed that. Why is it happening again? And her brain is still spiraling there, even though she knows, having gotten through the dream, that it was not that.
Mm-hmm.
Foggy's gonna follow Dusk in dealing with the horses. But specifically, say, hey, Dusk, I don't want
Yeah.
us all, doing nothing. Not doing nothing. I don't want us all retreading the same ground. Can I borrow one of the horses? I want to go talk to some people and give out some information.
Sure. Makes
Where's
sense.
Wine Drinker?
I believe she's right over here. Stepping over some wine bottles, she's right here.
Cool. I'll take one for the road for her.
All
And
right.
then I'm gonna go talk specifically to Gilly and see if I can then talk to Artelis and arrange a meeting with Jean and Miscaris. Sound fair? Just
That
so that we can
sounds
talk to some people that might have information.
great. We'll be ready to hook her back up once you return.
Okay. And I hop on to the back of
Well-
Wine Drinker and head in the direction of town.
So about this time, the sun is probably breaking over the horizon. And Rasa, are you still in the house?
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of see, I mean, everything has been slowly lightening a little bit. But you know how in the morning, like, there's this really burnt orange light sometimes from the sun, and you do see this patch of sunlight on the wall that is this reddish burnt orange. And Rasa, for just a moment, your vision blurs and you experience a flash of memory in perfect clarity. It's strange because the memory isn't yours. You are seeing yourself. You are in a private room at the Peasley, speaking in hushed tones to Gilly. You're promising them discretion in return for assistance. It is at your assurances of discretion you see the person's expression shift and they relent, agreeing to your plea for help. As Gilly nods slowly, their flame red curls bounce in the candlelight, about the same color as that shaft of sunlight. You remember this. This happened ages ago, after Mrs. Scaros was taken from the homestead of Joy, and you brought Jean here to the Peasley in the hopes that Gilly might rouse her from her shocked state. You realize then that this memory belongs to Snaps. You are seeing yourself through her eyes. Snaps is standing near. You feel her shift her weight, nervous, but doing her best to be a comforting presence. And you feel her emotions in that moment as if they were your own. She has known you all of 2 days, but you feel her respect and admiration for you in that heartbeat of time. The vision is there and then gone, and you're back in the present.
If I am not yet alone, moment in time, I would probably make some excuse or whatever to get to a place where I am by myself. And that might be the straw, so to speak, to break the camel's back. And like the emotion pours forth that she has been trying so hard to keep locked inside. Are you doing too?
Damn it, what is the Momdar roll?
It's wisdom based.
Depends on where you're at.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, I'm distracted as shit right now. My wisdom is a +0 anyway, so that's a 7. I am arranging Snaps' things so that they will be able to be slid into the bag of holding ever so perfectly. Oh, bag of holding, bag of holding, bag of where's the bag? Where's Snaps' bag? Where is Snaps' bag? And she starts meandering through the house again and goes into Foggy's room and it's not there. And okay. Into her room. Why the fuck would it be in my room? Get it the fuck together, Maiev. Okay. And check the armory, maybe? I don't know. And then, because Foggy has gone to town. Where's Dusk?
Out in the barn, out in the outside,
Out in the barn.
getting the cart hitched up to the one horse that remains, at least.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So she's for the moment seemingly alone in the house, muttering to herself to get her fucking shit together. Where is Snaps' bag? It's not in here. And I'm sure we're also being perceptive as fuck. Here's my puttering the fuck about, and just kind of like ducks in. The bag I gotta put. Hi.
Bag?
Yeah. Snaps his bag. I got all her stuff. I'm gonna put her stuff in the bag so that when we fix this, her stuff's right there.
Breathe. There's no oxygen going to the brain. It's not going to work. Breathe. More breath.
She will reluctantly, like the child in the middle of a tantrum, being told in through the nose, out through the mouth, just.
We'll find the bag.
Doesn't Rasa have the bag?
Rasa has the bag of holding, and I believe Maiev was asking her for it so that she could put Snap's stuff in the bag of holding.
Yes, but she is incredibly frantic. Did Rasa manage to pull her shit together enough that Maiev doesn't see, icicles hanging from her nose?
Depends on just how perceptive Maiev be.
Let's go. Roll it, baby.
Sure, yeah. Where's literally any of my...
Would that not be insight? Or
I don't know, but you got to beat an 11 deception.
Okay,
I figured that's the best roll that I can do at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. Either way, if it's perception or insight, my mod is 0. That's an 8. I'm doing great, guys. I'm doing great.
Ross
You're just so surprised.
Double digits.
Rasa,
You are so surprised that Rasa is holding it together just so great.
Rasa's holding it together just enough.
It just looks a little frosty. That's all.
Remind me to keep my shit together by breathing to make the brain do the brain thing. All right, all right.
What she might not notice is the whole breathing thing was probably also a pseudo mantra to herself for her to get her act together.
Okay, okay. All right. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So if we gather the bag, she will, kind of lead. She's probably gonna like yank Rasa along with her at this point because she doesn't like not having eyes on everyone right now, and she has realized in her meandering trying to find the bag that the boys are not here. So
Yeah, I
she,
don't
she
think
knew
they
Dusk
told
was
her.
doing the barn thing. I guess Foggy went to help him. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't think the girls have any idea what's going on with the boys. So
Trying to come out of Ross's room. Just hi, Sammy. Hi.
Hi. Here we made these. There's. I didn't know how much you would need or how long you will be gone, so we just sort of put as much as we could in these pouches, and it's food here.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go wash dishes now. Okay.
Okay.
Samity, you can also go to bed. The dishes can wait.
I don't want to go to bed. I'm gonna just be here and alert, and if anybody needs anything before you go wherever you're going, me and and Robert here, we're just gonna wait and be in the kitchen in case anybody needs anything. Okay. I don't know if anybody's noticed that Aste is not here. I'm assuming the two of you have assumed that he's gone off with Foggy or with
Yeah.
Dusk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
cool.
just assume the boys are outside.
Yeah, so someone's going to eventually have to notice his absence and everyone's attention.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's probably Mayev's really just trying to keep Rasa by her because the whole mom friend override, which is if there's somebody else that needs to do something that I can't do for myself, then suddenly I have the ability to do the thing. So she just kind of made Rasa her unwitting body double and is trying to keep her shit in order and get Snaps's gear into the bag of holding and then I guess go try and find the boys.
Michael Folding is with me.
What?
Yeah, and it wouldn't take you long to find Dusk, more than likely.
The horses.
I think we decided
Alrighty.
that that's the area of the house where the barn is, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
if I finish hooking up everything, I'd be like the dad coming in, look for the luggage to put away, and start loading up the car, so to speak. Like, ugh. And the first person he runs into probably Maya, who he would just say, "Oh, Foggy took wine drinker into Dybrook real quick. He had to go talk to Gilly and such."
Aste go with him?
Uh, no, no, I have not seen Austin. The professor has been very quiet, which is not good. More than likely, he's hanging out in parts yonder. So
Now, Dusk,
where did
you're
it go? Go ahead.
you're typically our navigator, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Ross is the lookout. You're the navigator.
yes.
What do we usually do for that? Survival?
Survival, yes.
As a- as you've hooked up one of the horses and like the initial shock, I guess, of the dream is maybe kind of dying down a little bit.
Right.
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Okay. Ooh, 26.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Like that dream is fresh in your mind, and you're loading up the carriage, and it occurs to you that this dream flew you over the Calamite Mountains, and yes, the trade road does go through the mountains.
Mhm.
It flew you over the Valley of the Sands. Probably not navigable by carriage. And you know for a fact that those mountains are not going to be it's not going to be feasible to take the ladies up there and the carriage.
Infinite.
Right, but do we hoof it the whole way, or do we take the cart to a point and pay somebody to take care of the horses until we come back?
It's just a thought that occurs to you.
Right. Yeah, he'll stuff that one away for a quick, because he can always take it to maybe leave it with Miss Scaros, and then we can hoof it from there. But that way, it's at least a quick jaunt to the homestead, Joy, and we can. Yeah, she'd be. I'm sure she could handle the two horses in the meantime. But yeah, he'll bring that up later when we're about to go.
Hey, main DM, how long does it take Foggy to get to town on a horse? Because I don't think we're that far away.
Oh, probably 10, 15 minutes, depending on which way he went and where he went.
Muted.
Gregory, you muted?
Sorry. Sky texted me and was wondering where I went because I seemingly dipped out of our previous voice chat out of nowhere, even though I did verbalize while they were AFK that I had to leave for D&D reasons. Sorry, yes. So I arrive in town. Sorry. Changing my brain back into Foggy. Heading into town from our house puts me closer to the Unicorn and Toad than it does the Peasley, correct?
There are two paths, if I recall. One that I think from the house toward town, if you go left, you'd come out closer to the Peasley. Versus if you
Oh
go
yeah,
right.
yeah. There's that fork right there.
Yeah.
That yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Then I would I'm gonna head down. Hey, do this intelligently. This side. And then swing past the Unicorn and Toad, and then carry that momentum upwards to home after stopping at the Peasley. But yeah, I would like to go talk to Artelis first.
Which DM is playing Artemis today?
I believe all.
I don't know the
Yeah.
minds of these other characters.
Yeah.
Yep. So, as you enter the Unicorn and Toad, you'll find Artelis busily, puttering about and wiping down tables, serving food to some of the construction workers. You'll see Siscaros and Jean had apparently stayed the night instead of going home after the funeral. So they're sitting down there with some tea and coffee and, bread rolls and what have you. Um, and yeah, Artelis is just going to look kind of surprised to see you this early in the morning on this particular day. And,
Hi.
good morning, Foggy. Can I get you some coffee or tea?
Coffee would actually be good, but I mostly am here for information, and I was about to ask if you could get me in contact with Jean and Miscaris, but they're still here, so I'll be talking to them in a moment. But you might also know. Long story short, me and the rest of Faith Wanderers had another collective vision dream affair happen.
Oh
Snaps can be saved.
no.
Snaps can be saved. It's a good thing. Snaps can be saved.
Oh, that's great. What? How?
Yes.
What? What? That
Well,
can't.
we need to. Yeah, I know it's a lot. We need to find a specific person who is being referred to in that vision as a, and I have to get up the exact verbiage again. Fire crowned earth singer. Which, if you've heard that term before and can point us in a rough direction to find that person, and then we have to go to Snaps' hometown, and then it can be fixed. Have you heard the term Earthsinger or a Fire Crown? I assume Fire Crown just means that they either have a lot of red in their outfit and therefore on a hat, or that they have bright red hair. Um, but Earthsinger is a term I've never
Uh,
heard before.
well, I mean, it's a flowery turn of phrase, isn't it? A fire crown could also be. Doesn't somebody in your party have a circlet that does magic fire stuff?
Yes, Aste, who, thinking about it, I haven't run into him this morning.
Also,
Oh,
have the
Has a
circlet of
crown
wisdom.
on that does a spell. But I wouldn't define
so
him as
that.
an Earth Singer because he's not of this
Oh,
plane.
that true. That's true. Earth singer is kind of again flowery words, but maybe it's like druid, like people of the forest and the woods, and
Okay,
those naturey people.
okay, yeah, that tracks. That yeah. Okay, cool. So I just have to find someone that fits that rough description. Um, okay, thank you. Uh, Incredibly helpful. I'm gonna get multiple opinions on that if you don't mind. Um, Especially
Of
because
course,
Jean and
yes.
Mascaros are right here. In the meantime,
I'm
you did
wild
offer
guessing
coffee.
it, so Yes, coffee. And do you need stiff coffee or regular coffee?
Regular coffee's fine. As you can tell, I'm already kind
Okay.
of awake. So,
Oh,
and
stiff coffee would calm you down a bit, dear.
oh, then definitely not. No, I want more energy.
Okay. Got it. All righty. Here, I'll get you some coffee. I'll bring it over to John and Mrs. Scarrow's table.
Fantastic. And I'm gonna walk over to Jean and Mascaros' table.
They be sitting, they be sipping.
Hi. Um,
Good morning.
I hate to
Where
interrupt
is
the. I know I'm talking over you a lot, and I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt the potentially somber post funeral breakfast, but I have news.
okay?
Me and the rest of the Fates Wanderers had a collective dream again last night. It's nothing bad. You need not worry. In fact, it is the opposite of bad. It was good. Um, Snaps' goddess, the veiled one, uh, reached out, and Snaps can be saved.
Oh, sweetheart, I don't I don't I wouldn't know anything about that.
I know that's
I,
fine. They
I'm
gave us very specific instructions on how she is to be saved. We are to find a specific person and bring them to a specific place, specifically Snaps' hometown, and then Snaps can be saved. Problem is, we were not given a name. We were given a title, and then he visibly shrugs. Um, Artelis gave me a decent idea, but I was going to run it by you as well. Uh, Quote specifically, Fire Crowned Earth Singer. Any ideas? Artelis's
um
idea that was that Earthsinger might potentially mean a druid adjacent individual, and for me, Firecrown means blazing red hair.
well the only person I know that fits that description would be Billy, I guess. Red hair.
And they do see his face drop of just solemnness, knowing how sensitive that is. Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm not
and yeah.
sure how forthcoming help would be from Gilly. I mean, Gilly's skills are Gilly's privacy.
Right.
It's really is protective of their past and of their um it's not my story to tell, son.
I know.
It can't hurt to ask.
Yeah. Um. Sorry. Player's food is trying to fight him. Yeah. It can't hurt to ask. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah. In this moment,
And
because it is such an aspect of their personality and person that I don't think about, I didn't even draw that connection until you. Yeah.
Jean will pipe up. Um, I mean, when it came to rescuing my beloved, and she just reaches over and puts her hand on Mrs. Scaros' hands. Gilly was instrumental. I think when need is dire, darling, that maybe Gilly is more convincible, more willing to expose themselves.
Okay.
And Mrs. Scaros just kind of nods along, and they both look at you like, yeah, shrug. Give it a shot, man.
Okay. Um. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Um. We've got this.
So
We've got
once you
this.
find this person, then what are you going to do?
We have to take that person and go to Snaps' hometown up in the Huntingsbane Mountains, if I remember rightly, within the next 10 days. Although I believe technically now 9 days.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know how much help I can be in that matter. And Jean just pats her on the hands. It's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. If they need something from us, they'll let us know.
Hmm.
Just we are at your disposal, son.
Yeah. I'm just doing the logistics in my head of, do we attempt to go down to Wartorrel Academy and force them to teleport us there? Because surely someone there can do that. Um, or do we just hoof it? Uh, Either way, right now the plan is go talk to Gilly and lay everything out in front of Gilly and pray that Gilly is willing to say yes, and then touch bases with the rest of the party.
Would
Uh,
you like us to stay in town?
yes, if you
I
wouldn't
mean,
mind.
we were going to go home this morning, but I'm happy to stay in town until you tell us otherwise.
Um, Part of me doesn't want to inconvenience you any more than we already have. Um, I leave that up to you. We can head to your homestead if we need to. Worst case scenario, we touch base down here and Artelis says, yeah, they went home. Or we can sending you and ask.
We will wait here
Okay.
until for further information or instruction.
Okay, I appreciate you. Did my coffee arrive during that conversation?
Yeah, it got silently slipped into your hands.
Was I even asked for money?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He will thank them for their time. Thank you. Okay, time to go talk to Gilly. And he reaches into his pocket and just drops a gold on the table and walks away.
You'll hear some sort of fond, uh, be well, be safe, keep us informed, sort of goodbye.
Gotcha. Never did that button on this character sheet. There we go. Okay. Then I'm gonna give Wine Drinker another little sip, and then head down to the Unicorn and Toad.
Mhm.
Wait for the p.m. to put us on the Unicorn and Toad.
You are at the Unicorn and Toad. I assume you mean the Peasley?
Or yeah, Peasley. Sorry, you know what I mean.
Yep. 5 minutes later, you be at the Peasley.
Awesome. Probably finishing my
by now-
coffee on the way there.
Yeah, by now the sun's up fully, and Bringwe is behind the bar, and that kid is prancing in and out of the kitchen with, the mood he always has, delivering food and making sure that all the construction workers have whatever they need. Some of them are already finishing up their breakfast and headed out to go start work on the construction of the theater.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up to Bringwe. Hi.
Oh, good morning. I mean, hello. I hope
Well,
this day has greeted you well.
stressfully, but well. I don't think you need all of the details. But I will simply tell you two things. One, I need to speak to Gilly, and two, we believe Snaps can be saved.
And you just see this blank look of shock and confusion. I was given to understand that was not a possibility.
So were all of us. And then Snaps' God gave me and the rest of my friends a message last night that says, not quite. So there is a path to saving Snaps. We just have to manage it within the next 10-ish days. Either way, where is Gilly?
Joey, go knock on Gilly's door, see if they're up. And a little boy pops out from behind the bar and grabs his little stuffed animal and scampers up the stairs. No, aside from getting Gilly for you, that anything that you need, you just let us know here at the Peasley. Do you need rations? Do you need a bracing bottle of wine? I don't know what to offer.
The people who live at the Sad Hour little mini homestead have already fitted up a bunch of rations for us. Why don't you grab whatever you think Gilly would prefer this morning, knowing the information that I've given you that I'm going to be giving them? He just puts another gold on the table. And then out loud says, I don't know if Gilly would want wine or coffee this morning, but and then he shrugs.
Right. Okay. And so quickly, Bringwe is scrambling a little bit, and she's got a ceramic cup and puts some leaves in it, and then pours really hot water over the leaves, and then a shot of whiskey and a little bit of milk, and puts it on the bar. And just a moment, and scampers through a doorway and comes back out with a very dusty bottle and puts it next to the mug. Both of those would probably put a little bit of a lift in their step.
Understood. And I'm going to sit here and wait.
Yeah, you have acquired a cup of stiff coffee, which is actually tea in this case, and a 15 gold piece bottle of wine.
Ooh. I'm going to put 14 more gold on the table and slide it across for a total of 15. Oh, well, 15 more to also cover the coffee.
Yeah, Bringwe's just going to be like shoving the gold back toward you. Really, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Consider it a gift, a well wish, and a good luck.
I appreciate you.
Whatever efforts you all are about to make on behalf of a god.
He shrugs.
And when Bringwe says God, the hand lands on that huge pile of icons that they wear piled up on their boobs. and just sort of caresses all of the charms on behalf of a god. And shortly thereafter, Gilly will come essentially floating down the stairs.
Hi.
Yes, morning. Yes, Bringwee, you needed something?
It
And
was
Bringwee
me.
just sort of gestures at you. Yeah. Oh, good morning, darling.
Hi.
How are you this morning? And they reach out like always and just give you a little caress on the upper arm,
Hmm. I'm
and
actually
you're
gonna full on extend out
satisfied.
for a hug. Yeah, I'm gonna full on extend out for a hug. May I?
Okay. Yes, of course.
Just a
And
good
you
morning
get
hug.
a very, very stiff embrace, awkward, nervous embrace.
Hmm. I have information for you, but it is a little bit sensitive. Um, Here is a stiff
Um,
coffee and some wine. We have to have a
ooh.
conversation.
Right. Well,
Somewhere private.
coffee, yes, lovely. I blows across the surface of the liquid and takes a sip, and then just
Sip
sort
to
of
you.
turns their face towards Bringwee and does a little wink. Grabs the bottle of wine and plops it up under their armpit. And would you like to go up to my rooms? Maybe to a table outside? Where would you like to go?
Your room.
Follow me. And they will glide back up the stairs and lead you to a relatively uh, austere furnished room. There is a bed with lots of furs for blankets, and there are several plants around the room. There's like a big, huge pot in one corner that has essentially a small tree growing in it. And there is a windowsill that's got several small potted plants, including a cactus,
Wow. Yeah.
and some trailing plant, that makes like a vine of itself that travels along and around and winds around the bedpost at the foot of the bed, and a very neat and tidy, almost empty desk. Not much else, though.
Okay.
Uh, they'll just sort of perch on the edge of their bed and pat the mattress because there's nowhere else to sit.
Hmm. He does gently shut the door, and does it have a latching mechanism?
Well, yeah, I guess it would. It's a public space, yeah.
He'll lock the door. Slowly move towards the bed and gently sit down. I'm going to give this to you as quickly as I can so as to rip off the bandage, so to speak. Me and the rest of the Faith Wanderers, as we're calling ourselves now, received a collective vision last night. Directly from the Veiled One, it would seem. If you didn't know, that is Snaps' god. And the long and short of it is that Snaps can be saved.
And Lily's hands will just reach out and land on your knee, both hands. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I don't think that's, I mean, unless you've got like actual godly intervention, I don't see how that's possible.
Well, I don't necessarily see it either. But Snaps is God herself, who is the being in control of the space in which your spirit waits to be taken to the actual afterlife, which is the limiting factor as to why certain revival spells only work for so long. Um, that goddess has said she can be saved, and because I want that to be true, I'm going to take its word for it. We were given very specific instructions, and this is the moment where my hand lands on top of Gilly's, that involve
Miss,
taking.
I'm listening.
These instructions involve taking a very specific person to a very specific place within the next 10 days. But we were not given a name. The term we were given was to find the, quote, fire-crowned Earthsinger. Now, initially, when I had heard that this was my path to getting snaps back, I was just going to ask if there was any chance that you would have any idea who that might be, or who I might ask to figure out who that might be. But then, thanks to a little bit of a conversation with Artelis, Jean, and Miscaros, I'm thinking that might be you.
And as you were speaking, after having said the term fire-crowned earth singer, you saw a little twitch in their brow, and then one of their hands slid out from under yours and just reached up and caressed a bit of their hair.
He's
I
nodding.
don't understand. I don't understand, Foggy. You want me to go somewhere?
Mm-hmm. I was hoping I could convince you to come with us to the Huntingsbane Mountains and do whatever the clerics there are of the opinion can be done to right this wrong that the world has done to Snaps and to the rest of me and my friends.
I understand. I do, but I don't see how I can be of any assistance. I don't see how I can help.
He does shrug. I know very little, by your own effort, of what you are capable of, truly. Um, Other than the fact that you don't like to talk about it. But I've seen a
And
taste of what you're capable of. You were about to say something?
and their eyes just slip away from yours, and there's a sad hint on their face, and their eyes just sort of focus on the ground. Sad, and maybe just a little bit of shame or embarrassment. Oh, it looks a little bit like shame, like maybe they're ashamed of their own reluctance in this moment.
He does trail off a little bit. Um, I've seen a little bit of what you're capable of when you put your mind to it, and when you are of the opinion that it is important. And he fishes in a pocket on the other side. Um, and I'm fully willing to admit that I'm biased in this moment, but I would very much like Snaps to be saved. And if one of the gods associated with death is of the opinion that someone like you is capable of doing something fantastic, I think at the very least you should give it a shot. I know I'm not the most convincing of people. I've never been very good at weaving words, but
You want to roll a persuasion check?
I was hoping you would say that at some point, because
And is there
player has been
anything
struggling
you
with
wanted?
words.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you would like to add before you roll to see if I will give you advantage?
Excuse me a moment. Well, immediately he was fishing in that pocket to pull out the bracelet that was Snaps's
Yep. Okay.
and place it into the hand that is still on my knee. I really care about this person. And I also care about your want to not have to engage with that part of your past if you don't want to. But I think if the gods have faith in you, you should have faith in yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, you may roll with advantage.
First one was pretty good. Second one was better. And this is persuasion?
Yeah.
Oof, plus 0. 17.
Well, I put her resistance at 16, so I bear resistance at 16. I still don't know what I can do to help. I'm gonna let your faith in me and this God's faith in me guide my path, I guess. Where exactly are we going? You said the mountains?
The
Huntingsbane?
Huntingsbane Mountains.
Oh, all right. Give me, why don't you go get a cup of coffee downstairs and I'll
I
pack
I got
myself a little bag.
for you or for me? Because I got coffee at the Unicorn and Toad.
I would like a little privacy while I pack my things, if you don't mind.
I figured that's what you were asking for. I just wanted to be certain. And I get up and I go and I unlock the door and I walk out before they continue talking at me.
Okay, cool. So you're going to be hanging out down at the Peasley, and Bringwee will be hoisting a stack of pancakes on you or something while you wait for about 10 minutes. And eventually Gilly will come down the stairs, strangely clad in trousers with boots that lace up to the knee. But you can still see bits of that flowy fabric peeking out through the armholes of a vest that they are wearing. And there is a heavy looking plate armor over and above and around it all, very ornately decorated, finely engraved mithril plate armor
Oh.
set with the little floaty bits of fabric being tucked and folded in such a way that if they were to remove their armor, the gown that you're accustomed to seeing would unfurl to hide the trousers and the boots so that they would look more like themselves.
Got
But
it.
for travel, they've geared up. Big old backpack.
All right. Thank you again for your willingness to at least attempt this. I've got a horse outside. Are we ready to? And then he looks to bring me. Are we good? Do I need to? I'm like 2/3 of the way through these pancakes, but
Whenever you're ready, we'll other man, let's go.
all right. Yeah, and he's gonna just get his hand ruined and pick up what remains of the stack of pancakes. Thank Bringwee. Drop another gold on the table, even though Bringwee's gonna turn it away, and then head over to wine drinker and All right, let's head. I guess I'll drive and hop up on and help Gilly on and head back to our homestead.
Gilly, light of foot, pounces just straight into the air and lands on the back behind you.
I'm sure.
With absolutely no effort whatsoever. A little bit of a whisper in Wine Drinker's ear. Something about I have something for you later, and slings themselves up behind you on there.
And off we go.
Do.
I did it.
As that was happening, yay! As that was happening, Maya kept up her streak of having very, very specific magic knowledge,
Yeah,
and
she did.
had a revelation of her own back at the homestead.
I don't know how long his trip to town took, but at some point, I'm going to say just because it is Maiev, it took easily 30 minutes for the start of the realization. She's just mulling this shit over in her head, the words that we heard. And she's still frantic back and forth and then begins to mutter to herself and just Gerald and the kids, all those kids, every one of them. And his tricks, and Siggy loved learning about animals that way, and because I'm not sure exactly how many of the party members know the full extent of her history, but everybody knows that she's got her husband and her Siggy, and her husband was a druid, so he loved learning about the animals that way because he would wild shape and teach the boy about the animals. And as she's frantically doing things and stops dead in her tracks when her own hair falls in front of her face and then stands bolt upright and wait, how did our DM phrase it? There is a loading circle on her forehead and smoke comes out of her ears and the dots connected.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
I
Maya
think,
figured out that you needed to get Gilly.
yeah, and I am almost certain that she then turns to Dusk. Can you make me fly? Can you make me faster? Or Gilly, and she's just like running through the house trying to see if she's got to be faster. She's like, we're gonna be coming back, and she just like drops all of her shit to lighten the load and starts to book it toward town.
All right. Oh. All right. I gotta share that GIF with I gotta share that GIF with YouTube. Hold on.
No.
Hang on a minute, YouTube. I feel so bad. So I don't think YouTube heard it, but Aste's player had their work schedule change and currently are unavailable on Saturdays. So yeah. They're just seeing the notifications happen and
Sorry, Aste.
yeah. Sorry, Aste. Anyway, continuing on.
Oh, all of the chat notifications are popping on his phone while he's working.
Yup.
Well, he'll get to watch the video.
Indeed. So I assume, like for us, 2/3 of the way back to the homestead, we run into Maev desperately sprinting to town.
I mean, yeah, probably. She
I'm
was
sure
informed
Aste
that Foggy
connected
went
the
to town.
dots.
Oh
yeah,
ages
Aste
ago.
probably did, yeah.
I'm like, he probably connected the dots and then immediately bumped to the astral plane before he could open his mouth and say anything.
How many of us
But yeah.
is Maya dragging behind her?
Oh, I assumed Maev was just running.
Oh yeah, Maev
I
like
understand that, but she's also been mother birding. So at this point, is she turned into a mother duck and trying to ensure the ducklings are following behind, or quack?
nah, pretty much that. She goes full forest and I'll be back. We'll be back. We'll all be back. It drops all of her shit to lighten the load as much as possible and just books it toward town.
So I'ma say about here.
Oh, I gotta get
Yeah.
back to the map here.
About here, Gilly's gonna see the hulking madness of Maiev charging toward them, and without missing a beat, will simply kick off and leap from the back of the horse to land in the road and run right alongside the horse, catch up to where Maiev is coming at you, and just throw their arms open, good, and wrap up in you, and everything's going to be fine, and try to be reassuring.
Calm emotions. Yunk.
I've agreed to come. I've agreed to come. I will do what I can. I can't do much, but I will trust, and I will come. Where are we going?
And I think Maev probably breaks a little bit in the embrace and there's like tears for a minute and the breathlessness of I just fucking booked it, full action dashing to fucking it go to try to get to town to find Gilly, and then Gilly found me. It was great. It was fantastic, and all of the emotion just crashed into her as she falls into this hug and just thank you, like and like oh let me and just like wipe the tears off of the that's fancy. uh it's gonna be fine. We got, and she starts like counting on her fingers as to how many gods that have their eyes on us at this point. We got, and the Beldman said, and it's gonna be fine. We're thank you. And then she'll turn and lead everybody back to the homestead.
At some point, Gilly's hand will find your cheek, and you get a thumb caress to wipe away a tear and to make it so you're not hungry.
And probably the biggest smile she can actively muster, and it is 100% genuine. And another thank you, and back to the house we go.
Okie dokie.
I got nothing to add. We're going home.
Ross and Dusk are still at the house.
Probably looking at each other rather confused, but yeah.
Scrolling is very sensitive on this map.
Alrighty, so we're back at the house, and Dusk and Russa see the rest of the gang coming. And what are we doing?
Dusk would probably see Gilly among them, right? sort of
Mhm.
cock his head to one side and be like, "See that lady, Rosa? Gilly with them?
Like Gilly.
Huh, interesting. Wonder what they're here for."
Sun bouncing off the
Center.
flamey red hair.
I was going to say, I'm looking at Ross's, intelligence/wisdom to see if I would have picked up on the,
In the, probably
You did very specifically notice the hair in that little
yeah. And
memory you got.
yeah, considering I just rolled a nat 19, it doesn't matter what stat we're going with. I'd probably lean over and go, red hair.
red hair. Oh, right.
They put it together a little quicker.
Ah, well. I get it now. Makes sense, I think. It's what's the word? Metaphor. But yeah, I get it. And so then that makes the Earth Singer part.
But she's dressed for trouble.
I was gonna say I didn't think Gilly was in a band.
Maybe we should keep, the warning that my dragon friend gave us a little bit more, don't get into fucking trouble. Because we did. And it bit us in the ass.
Do tend to do that.
You shouldn't do it again.
Well, as if we could hold that promise. But anyway, hello everybody. Welcome back.
And you'll get the greeting from Gilly that Maiev got, an offer of a hug if you want it,
Oh, of course.
and a hand on the cheek to make it so you're not hungry today.
Oh, yep. There's that thing again. I good thing I hadn't had breakfast yet. Thank you. I don't feel the urge to eat bacon.
How could you not have an urge for bacon?
It's part
There's
of the deal.
always the urge.
Mm. Bacon isn't really sustenance. Bacon is a requirement.
Yeah.
If you have bacon, I would take some bacon. I forgot to grab some when I left.
We have bacon. It's part of our blood at this point.
Yeah, good. All right.
Right.
And did Rasa accept a hug or a handshake?
Rasa probably would have done more of like, I don't remember exactly how old Gilly is compared to her, but you know how it's not quite the hug, but it's the lean and put the head on the shoulder kind of
Side
move,
hug.
and yeah.
And you'll just get a thumb, a caress down the side, whatever exposed part of your arm is on the inside of that side hug, so that you're not hungry either.
Well, I have been giving it some thought,
Don't take
and well, given the way we flew, right, the shortest route is not going to be friendly to the cart at a certain point. Especially if we get north of the Calamite Mountain. When we get north of the Calamite Mountains, I should say, there's going to be a point where it'll be more of a straight shot if we just abandon the cart altogether. So the question is, do we hoof it from foot from here, or do we? I guess we could go. I don't know if we want to go to Dracot, but I don't know if there's a place where we could, like, the homestead of Joy, right? We could stop by and drop it off there, and then head the rest of the way on foot, or we could just do it here. It's okay if nobody has an opinion. I just laying it out there.
I'm
Yeah.
so lost.
So
Was
Gilly might point out that it's a pretty big carriage with room on top, and maybe if Jean and Mrs. Scaros are willing to take care of your horses, we could pick them up and take them home and leave the carriage with them at the turnoff.
They're still in. Of course, they're in Dybrook. Yeah.
yes, yeah. I should have said that at some point. Sorry, I was just so overwhelmed by having stumbled into uh, having the answer at my fingertips in the form of Gilly. Thank you again. You're gonna get at least 3 of them from me a day. Just be warned, Gilly. I'm gonna say thank you a lot. Um, yeah, I spoke to Jean and Miscaros and was asking, hey, where do you think I might find information on this person? And then pray that that person was on our path, only to have everybody except for Gilly be of the opinion that the answer, if it is the answer, is Gilly.
Well,
I was not at all
look
ready
at you.
to randomly land on the answer. So yes, I also like the idea of we could probably get there in time on foot if we're fast. And then yeah, just take the cart up to the turnoff and then let them take the cart and the horses to the homestead of Joy.
All right. Well, we get the show on the road if we have no other business. I think we're
Well,
basically ready to go.
I gotta go in and get all my shit because I dropped all my shit outside
Yeah,
You've been-
you do that.
before I
I
ran
thought you
outside.
and
I should say.
No,
oh, I
because
thought you and Dusk
Rasa,
piled it all in the carriage.
well, and Rasa would have done a lot rather than just, stand around and twiddle her flippin' thumbs. So
Yeah.
she probably would have, ignored all thoughts of invasion of privacy and gone into rooms and grabbed the things that she thought people needed. And
Right.
And all of Snap's items are now in the bag of holding.
sounds that way.
Yep.
And then Foggy
With me.
has the
Never
bracelet.
left my back and never will.
Okay. Ross has got the bag with the egg. Foggy has the bracelet as well as Aste's chain.
Mm-hmm.
And then are we leaving the bowl o' dust?
No.
Yeah, I feel like we would assume it's a spellcasting component, as dark as it is to phrase it that way.
Yeah. I think when Maya goes back into the house, she'll grab the bolo dust and just kind of wander into the kitchen and find like either a jar with a lid or some way to make a lid for the bowl that it's in.
I got a jar of dirt.
Yes.
Jesus.
That's cute.
It would be easier if we can assume that there is a jar with a lid in the kitchen and I have repurposed it to be a jar of snaps.
Yeah, Samity will help with whatever it is you need, and between her and
I
is it
think
Robert or
Robert is
Bernard? I
inside.
can never remember which one is which. Will acquire a glass bottle and fabric with a ringy dingy that's necks on there and a piece of twine that ties around it so that it all stays closed and sealed and nice for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And she'll give them both a mom hug and say, we'll be back. We will all be back.
He'll finish cleaning up from the fire and do what needs doing around here. It's all going to be okay. We have faith that you guys will do whatever magic that you guys always seem to do, and everything's going to be fine.
Yep.
Rasa
Yep.
being, I don't know, a realist at this. Trouble comes, get out. Just run. We can rebuild, but we can't replace people. We've learned that.
Okay.
Oh, oh well.
You too.
We're on a mission to replace this person. Not really replace. Sorry, dark humor. Gallows humor. Gallows humor, everybody. Sorry. Sorry.
I think um just before Maya leaves the house, she's going to duck back into her room for a second, rifle through the small chest that she has, and then she'll come out and load herself up into the cart. She's got some things that she's going to be doing while we ride through town, and back up to the Homestead of Joy.
Is everybody else good at the house before we head back into town together?
I don't think there's anything else Foggy would need.
Is already in the cart saying, "All right." He had a horn laying
Into
on it.
town.
All right. Off we go, wanderers, once again.
And
On the
very
way.
specifically,
On
on the way. Um, are all of Snap's items in the bag of holding, including her holy symbol?
I would assume so.
Yeah, I think Maiev was pretty specific about picking up anything that didn't turn to dust and had
Okay.
put it all in Foggy's room, so it was
Nobody's
all together.
nobody's
Yeah,
keeping anything out.
I think that Maya would have, because she knows enough most of the time. Uh, she would have probably kept the like, as she was gathering everything. I think she kind of tucked the holy symbol just somewhere on her person, and is just making sure that we've got that easily accessible.
Into town we go.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's any conversation on the way to town, you all are going to pull up back in front of the unicorn and toad. Just making circles around town today, this morning.
My one question would be, where's Gilly riding in the cart?
Ostay's spot.
Gotcha. Not next to Duskin, but right.
Oh yeah, I guess Gilly could sit up front if you invited them to.
I would probably be like, "Hey, Gilly, why don't you right up here with old Dusk for a minute here?"
Of course, and eat a foot. Time's on up.
Yep, extending a hand to help up. And underway, just Dusk would sort of be like, "I feel like I owe you an apology.
Do you?
Well, I upset you yesterday, clearly.
Forgive me, DM. Rebecca doesn't remember.
When I
Called them selfless,
trying
I
to
think.
Selflessness.
compliment Gilly for being selfless."
Wait, what?
And Gilly had kind of a negative reaction to that.
There was a negative reaction to being called selfless, and seemed to send Gilly into a bit of a emotional tailspin of
Ah,
sorts.
gotcha. And so what you've just said to them is, I upset you yesterday?
Right. Like, I upset you. I owe you an apology. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
I appreciate that, and you should not apologize for your opinions. I have my own baggage that I sometimes don't carry well, but that's my
Yes,
baggage, and your compliment and your high opinion of me is valid for you.
understood. Um, Obviously, I won't pry. Life has a tendency of leaving scars. Not all of them you can see. I think most of us here in this cart have such scars, visible and invisible. So I think we understand.
I appreciate not. I appreciate your tolerance of my quietness.
Well, I revel in the silence. Nothing quite like being outside at night on a cool day. Even the crickets are quiet, and the silence has a comforting effect for me.
I was specifically referring to them not divulging their history to you.
I'm being literal because I'm dusk.
Okay, you're dusk. Got it. Okay.
Anyway, well, anyways, fast forward to wherever we're going.
Yeah, cool.
All right, dusk would be like, all right, I'll keep the horses warm. You go in and get them. We'll get the show on the road.
Oh, me? Sure. Okay. And
Oh, anybody.
Gilly just sort of hops down on, you know, as close to sachet as possible in full plate armor, uh, into and comes back out with Artelis and Jean and Mrs. Scaros and flings open a door and holds out a hand to help Mrs. Scaros up in and shakes Jean's hand and lets them load themselves in and shuts the door and takes Artelis' hand and hops back up on top.
Alrighty. Well, figured to give you a lift back to the Homestead of Joy, and as a small favor for the trip, maybe just take care of these two horses here until we're back.
And they agreed.
All right, cool.
Gilly's like, I told them what you were up to, and they thought that was a good idea too. So we're good to go.
All right, onwards we go. Mush.
Mush.
You get some mare ears from Jezebel at Mush. Flicks the ears. Alrighty. So it was a sunny morning a little bit, but now there are some clouds moving in from the south as you guys head up north. Is there any conversation before or as we get to the turnoff for the Homestead of Joy?
I think um Maya was just kind of fiddling with some stones, gems, I should say, in the back, and like she also has like those fancy ass robes from the mansion, and she has just kind of borrowed one of I don't think she has it. Oh no, I have one. She's got a dagger, and she's like making strips of cloth to try and figure something out. And Yeah, she's attempting to craft some kind of pendant situation out of a piece of amethyst. Yes, craft time with Maya in the back of a carriage.
And you cut out a little bit. Did you say you're trying to make a pendant with a piece of amethyst?
Yes, I did.
Said that right. Right. So the clouds are moving in, and you guys get to the turnoff for the Homestead of Joy. I assume everybody gets out to let Jean and Mrs. Scaros take over to take the ladies in the carriage home, and then you guys are going to set off up north.
Yep. And Dusk will just
Yeah.
tell the horses, all right, you be good girls. For Mrs. Scaros. John and company, everybody. And yeah, we'll see you soon enough.
I think Mayev is trying and probably not doing the greatest at keeping her shit together when she says goodbye to Jean and Mrs. Scaros. And we'll be back. We'll all of us. We're gonna be back real soon. And just kind of like awkward hugs where she's visibly trying not to cry, and off we go. Unless anyone else has other things.
Just have encouraging things to say, and Jean and Mrs. Scaros will have a private conversation with Gilly at some point over by the temple before you all depart.
Can you remind me what temples are at?
There's a temple, the actual temple to Lyra, and then there's a small shrine to the Moon Maiden.
The Moon Maiden. I remember that we had made a shrine of some sort. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Moon Maiden.
Yeah, it's off on the corner of the property.
Nope, that's
corner
fine.
of the circle. The property being a circle. Too funny that
It
it's
was
in the
more
corner,
Ross,
but
it was more player trying to remember if it was Dusk or if it had been Snap that had done it. That's all I could remember is that we
I
did
think it
something.
was
Team effort.
it was there, but yeah, Dusk, Foggy, and Snaps all visited it.
and tidied it up.
Yeah, but if it's more Moon Maiden as the Veiled One, that's kind of
I will say, even though the Veiled One was driving the car during that vision, the Moon Maiden seemed to be present. Like, there was a full moon last night, and she was illuminating things in such a way that even Rasa saw everything clearly as the one without any dark vision.
would Ross put that not necessarily being an all that religious type of.
I think I did mention it actually in the dream, so yeah, we'll say yeah.
Okay, then while Gilly is having their conversation, Rasa trying to be as respectful as possible to the homestead would probably pick flowers and just place them in the brainstorming the shrine. Just more as
All right.
a for snaps kind of thing.
Sorry,
cutting
you're
out a
breaking.
little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of cutting out. So you picked some flowers and delivered them to the gazebo temple to Lyra by the house,
Nope,
and
to the
then
shrine.
out just to the shrine on the edge of the property. Okay.
Yep, just to the shrine on the edge of the property.
Okay.
In her mind, even if the flowers wilt and pass away, that's still an offering to the veiled one kind of thing. And just
Okay.
as a, this is for snaps and this is about all that Rasa can comprehend kind of thing. And hopefully this works because God knows we need good juju at this point.
Maya would probably help pick a couple flowers and go, oh wait, no, this one. Snaps would like this one. And just here you go.
Dusk will just kind of glance over his shoulder at the shrine and see them doing their little offerings and just sort of smile.
Awkward as a non-religious person can do this,
Not unlike this gif here, where he's just going, yeah, that's good.
I'll share that one with you, YouTube. Yeah.
I was distracted with maps and trying to figure out where my picture of the homestead was. What did the Maiev craft in the back of the carriage?
She is
Pen-
attempting. Yeah, she's attempting. I don't know how well it's gonna go.
Attempting
But
to
yeah.
craft a pendant with an amethyst. And then strips of cloth from the vibrant robes that she got from the mansion.
Okay.
Righty. Side conversation with Gilly. An offering placed at the shrine to the Moon Maiden, noticed by Dusk. Anything else here at the homestead?
I don't know.
Nope.
Cookie probably come out and try to foist food on everybody.
Lunch.
Cookie.
Gladly
Because,
takes the
Right.
I think this is the first time that we have been back to the homestead of Joy. Does
right.
anyone try to hoist the Bad Samaritan back at me?
Oh, you're going to have to refresh my memory. I don't know what that is.
The Bad Samaritan is a trident that Maiev had. And during the battle, it was thrown at an imp attacking the homestead and not retrieved. I made certain to write down that it was not retrieved. Don't even remember where I got it from, but it's been in my inventory with a little star. It's at the homestead of Joy.
Yeah, let's say that somewhere in the intervening time, John has it has been delivered into her loving hands, and she has polished it up and made it look sparkly and new. And as you all are getting ready to leave, she runs off to the forge and comes running back. I forgot. This is yours, right?
It's been 84 years. And she's just gonna kind of look at it and just, yeah, 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 yeah. That is mine. Um, Claire genuinely cannot recall where it came from or why it specifically has that name, but I know there's a reason for these things. I'll make DM Prime figure that out for me at some point.
Okay.
And she's gonna be like, I'll I'll pick it up on the way back because we gotta come back to Snaps, and we'll make a trip, and I'll pick that up on the way back. It's really pretty now, shiny.
This is happening. Maiev, you feel a little bit of warmth in your pocket. But before you can react, dusk.
Oh, yeah.
Your vision blurs and you experience a flash of memory.
Oh god. Okay. I thought Dusk was about to drop dead. Okay.
God.
No, no.
We haven't been scarred at all.
Dusk.
No, we're fine.
Your chest is tight. You're biting your lips. Your clawed hands. No, Snap's hands are gripping her staff, and she is trying desperately not to laugh. You see yourself, and you are presenting a lovingly carved little toy whistle to the newly resurrected Cookie's son, her 20-something adult son. Cookie herself is standing there, smiling bemusedly as you bumble over the young human man's age. And it feels like Snaps is about to bust a rib when she glances over to see Rasa slowly drop her forehead into a hand, but a tremble in the dragonborn's shoulders give her away. Nearby, it's Maev's laugh, starting slow and building to a bright chuckle that breaks the awkward spell. Snaps lets out a peal of laughter, Foggy's grinning, and you hear Rasa. Oh, Dusky. Snaps turns away to catch her breath and looks out over the field of flowers, a riot of joyful color filling her vision. A happy ending. You saved Mrs. Scaros. Mrs. Scaros saved Cookie. The homestead of Joy is safe. The wanderers are whole and happy. It is a good day. You are yourself in the present again.
Oh. And Dusk. I think Dusk in that moment, remembering that, is caught between that irresistible chuckle of seeing himself and remembering the thought in his head of like, oh, it's this person's son. It must be a little boy. I'll have this little whistle for him. And then just trying to play it off like it's nothing. Like, oh, here you go. And he remembers that and is just seeing it through from somebody else's eyes, just kind of like, oh man, I'm a ridiculous person, but oh, that was all in good fun. He just sort of wipes a tear from his eye, a tear of laughter, and he's blushing a little bit probably, and just like, where the heck did that come from? Like,
Okay.
out of body
So
memory.
I think because I embody physicality when I play, when I described that I tucked it onto my person, I quite literally tucked it like as if it was going to be tucked into the bra. Is it an uncomfortable warmth? Because that's
No,
on her
it's just
skin,
no. It's not hot. It's just
like a surge of
noticeably
warmth.
warm, like it was just being held against someone's heart.
Okay. She's just gonna kind of like adjust
Just
her
notice it.
top. Like, okay, interesting.
And from the outside, Gilly might notice that Dusk has tears.
You just sort of like that, almost face palming. You know, he's a sort of like chuckling, but that chuckling may kind of look like sobbing almost if you're not like truly aware of the sound he's making.
There you are. Are you all right there, brother man?
Oh, yes. I just had a flash of memory of the last time we were here. with Snaps.
Hmm.
And oddly enough, it was from Snap's perspective, which is not sure how to interpret why that's happening, other than I think it's just a sign that we're on the right track, maybe, and Snaps is clearly still with us in spirit.
Wait, I'm
But that was a
sorry.
lovely little memory.
From Snaps's point of view?
Yeah, like I had like clawed hands, and I was holding a staff, and I had like a tail, which was a really interesting sensation.
Fascinating.
I was much furrier than I am. I mean, whew, don't know how she does it.
Oh, I do.
Well, okay. Well,
It's nice.
um,
It's nice having a tail. Helps with balance.
I didn't have a chance to really give it a test drive, but I just sensed something dangling back there that normally isn't.
Hmm.
It kind of swished.
Keeps the bugs off too.
Bugs up. Doug's,
I
Doug,
mean,
Doug is like,
depending on the choices you make, if
depending on
you
his
have the
choices.
ability. Well, anyway.
Okay. Choice what? Dusk is like kind of like, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Think. I
Doesn't
you know,
Dusk get a one wild shape a day thing?
She actually gets 2 per short rest.
No, Dusk.
Oh,
Dusk.
dusk. I don't know.
This has an alter self thing, I think.
Oh, that's right.
But
Me? No, yeah,
I think he's
I
still
can.
got to be a humanoid.
Right, I can. What is my feature trait? I can go invisible, and I can. That's
You can
Ross.
probably make yourself look like a tabaxi, but that might just be a visual thing, not a physical.
Yeah, it's a truly a. I think it's a projection of sorts. Fearbulk magic. Disguise self. I can do disguise self. Yes,
Okay.
which I don't do often enough. I'm realizing. Yeah, I can seem 3 feet shorter or taller, but I imagine there's limits. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Well,
Keeps the bugs off.
indeed.
And this was stated as a possible ending time. Are we wanting to go ahead and
I was about to bring that up.
close up shop for the day before the party hits the road again?
Oh, we are asking about whether my body is coping. I am shockingly quite well. If you guys want to continue, I'm okay.
I'm going to go for a little bit longer.
Sure.
I kind of do have to pee if folks don't
Bio
mind taking a
break.
quick potty break. All right.
Yeah, let's
Bio
potty
Potty
break.
breaks are good.
All righty. Be right back.
I had not looked into the options that Gilly has for that kind of thing. Gilly could be a dire wolf if they wanted.
So I will
And
say
we are
that.
back.
So despite the fact that Dusk has decided to share his little memory thing, Rasa is not going to divulge any of that whatsoever. She will keep it very close to the chest and just because that was what had initially made her break and lose control. So she's not going to talk about it. She's not going to hers and her little secret alone.
Okay.
All right.
Cool, cool.
Horses are taken care of, and we are on foot back to the main road and then turning north. Some clouds moved in before you got to the Homestead of Joy. It's kind of turning into a little bit of a gray day. Um, it's still early summer. It's like within the first couple weeks of summer. And as you're walking along the trade road north, I am not going to require any uh, lookout or navigation rolls because these are roads that you have walked several times. And they are roads that are now watched by the Wanderer's Guard, if I recall.
Yep.
So those little bands of goblins we killed, not so much a problem anymore. Um, but as you walk, it starts to rain a little bit. Just kind of a not anything that impedes you or is super uncomfortable. Just like a nice cool summer rain, and it kicks up the scent of a very green, foresty petrichor. Just the smell of life and death and growing things. Just trees that grow up from the earth and die and give rise to new trees. And we walk north. And can we look at the world map, please?
The
I
whole
would just
world
like
or the
to.
continent?
The continent, yeah. Sorry.
This is the first
Ashley
time I
West
have heard
gets a
the word
cookie.
petrichor, and it is one of my
I
new
was gonna
favorite
just.
words.
I was about to say that she gets a gold star, a cookie, and a brownie because that is one of my favorite words.
It's my
It is
favorite
one of my new
scent,
favorite
period.
words.
It's one of
It
my
is my
favorite
absolute
scents.
favorite scent. So yeah,
Yep.
I love it.
It's one of mine too. Like we rainy hiked today and we rainy hiked last week, and it's been on the brain.
Love it.
And yeah, so y'all get a little bit damp, and there are little like pitter patters of rain that go past, and yeah, this is the time of year that there are hurricanes brewing below the coast, but this is just a nice little summer. Um, so yeah, we're gonna walk and then start getting into probably the Calamite foothills, possibly. Um, I think the Homestead of Joy is not quite that many squares removed officially. Um, so primary DM, if we walk the 8 hours, um, roughly where would we be?
Well, because there's some hiking involved getting through the pass. Let's see. Leaving. The map image that I showed you with that curve in the road is 3 miles past the turn for the Homestead of Joy. And then 20 miles later, you enter the Calamite Pass. So you have to add an hour of climbing and hiking to the number of miles that they can travel. So they can travel 3 miles per hour. So you did 3 to get to the curve, 20 to get to the pass, 1.5 in the pass is 24 and a half miles divided by 3 is 8 hours. So they can get through the pass in just barely more than 8 hours.
Okay. Is there any interaction that happens along the way?
I don't think there is.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Um, hmm. I think the question would be, do we cut across the Valley of the Sands like we did in the dream, or do we take a bit more of a different approach for, survival purposes.
Survival is going to be important.
I'm gonna say that if you ask that question uh, out loud within Gilly's earshot, there would be a bit of a flinch at the suggestion of crossing through the Valley of the Sands. Not really doesn't seem very excited about walking through the Valley of the Sands.
As this conversation is on your mind, Dusk and Rasa, both
Oh,
of you and Snaps, all three had the dream right up to the mountain. And then Rasa chose to have the dream one more night. Um, and the feel of that original curse dream was very different. It was more forceful than what you had last night. And you are the navigator and the lookout for the gang. And just the dream from last night is very, very, very easy to recall. And there are differences to it. The original curse dream seemed to take you on a very straightforward path, like a straight line boom up to that mountain. Um, whereas the dream last night, as you're thinking about it, it kind of followed you along the road, and then it took you up, up and over the Valley of the Sands, and kinda over the Farmer's Bar Forest, and then it kind of dipped over onto this side of the mountains over here, and eventually got up here. So you're actually gonna have to go further than before. But as you're kind of thinking about the dream, it was not as direct a line. Both of you kind of come to that realization as you're walking.
okay. Oh, so we're gonna go through Drake, and we're going to possibly we can stop by the community before we cross through the forest, and yeah, from there we're in. It's gonna be it's gonna be real fun retreading those steps, I'm sure. But who knew we'd be back in that neighborhood so soon, right?
Yeah, feels like we were just here.
Don't. It wasn't. I think we passed by the patch of road where Snaps dropped dead for the first time.
Dude.
Yeah,
She got
that was
better.
the straight road in the forest that I was showing you.
Mhm.
So yeah, good memories, right? Good, happy memories on this trail. You found your dagger, right?
As Dusk
You
says
rest.
that, as Dusk says those words,
Oh, oh, oh,
Damn it, Dusk, what did you do now?
saying word.
he says you found your dagger. Um, and you're kind of rounding this bend in the road, and Rasa, you're this dream is on the mind, and you have not mentioned that memory that you saw. But then Dusk says things. Um, and Rasa, you get an odd feeling in your gut, but you're ready for the memory this time. The edges of your vision blur, and you are seeing yourself again. You're tense, alert, staring into the trees, eyes narrowed. In a flash of white scales, you jump into action, pouncing into the bushes. After a few seconds of wrestling, your head pops back up, leaves in your hair, and something clutched in your hand. You see Dusk, Foggy, and Maiev watching you, thoroughly confused. Another blur of movement, and you're off again. This time you pop up from another bush with another something in your hand. It doesn't take you long to spot the next whatever it is you're chasing and bound off again like a kitten after a feather. You feel Snap's emotion bleed through the vision, wariness and confusion, and then curiosity that gives way to amusement and joy. As you watch yourself return to your friends and breakfast, quite satisfied with your hunt, you see the pieces of your puzzle dagger gathered in your claws, ready to be assembled for the first time. Vision is there and then gone, and you are back in the present on the road. And just, I'm not going to say that the dagger is vibrating, but you're just aware of it there.
Would, I don't believe, be able to vibrate right now.
Like I said, I'm not making that decision. I don't decide what happens with the dagger. Just, you're aware of your possession of the dagger.
Rasa would probably subconsciously reach for it. Not necessarily take it out, but, lay a hand upon it.
Is my boob hot again?
Your tits are a little warm.
Okay.
Jesus.
And she's like wriggling a little bit and moves her shirt some and weird.
Not uncomfortably so, just noticeably.
A little weird.
And Rasa puts her hand on her dagger.
Yep. Kind of smiles to herself and just keeps on keeping on.
Hiccups.
Ready to ship it.
So roguey. Anyway. Well,
Has Sarah, have you been keeping track of how many days have passed since your dagger was temporarily altered?
Not directly, no.
Has Snaps, or I'm sorry, has West been keeping track of how many days it's been since that?
I've got the recaps here. I can probably figure it out. Let's see.
There's a
We said
certain
today is
number
day.
of days.
We're still on day 62 right now that we woke up on today.
Yeah.
Just before we got to Losentoft. It was day 54 when Asterinian set out, and it is now day 62.
8.
And how many days did Asterinian say they'd be out of touch?
Thought it was at least.
I don't.
That's what my gut was.
I'll go look that up while you guys continue to play. Thank you. I'll fill you in, intermediate DM or whatever we're calling you.
I'm the sidecar DM.
The what?
The sidecar DM. I'm just tucked in the little
Sidecar
motorcycle sidecar.
DM.
I love it.
Alrighty. Mayev's got warm boobs. Rasa's got a hand on her dagger. We're all a little damp from the rain. Making our way up to the pass. Eventually, you guys are going to have to kind of stop traveling and look for a place to set up camp. We're going to find a place kind of off the road, out of the way.
right. The old wow, it's been a hot minute since I've used the dome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's always preferred. But yep, yeah. We might have we stopped here before? I think I remember that tree. Anyway, all right. Well, when we're ready, when we're good and ready, I'll put the dome up since it's a 8-hour thing. So when we're all good and
What does
ready,
it look like when you cast the dome?
what's that?
Does it look like?
Oh,
What does it look like when you cast the dome? What does Dust do?
so yeah, I think as like part of it, he traces the line out of the dome that the width of it, and he sits in the middle, and he sort of just kind of utter the words of beseeching the Moon Maiden for protection for the night, shelter for these travelers, and when the dome goes up, it's sort of like it looks like a glass dome at first, is just sort of growing out of the ground and kind of comes to an apex above him, but then it sort of shimmers into that translucent camouflaged look as it kind of becomes hidden uh, to everyone in the dome. I believe I've described it as you basically get a cloudless view of the sky above, so that where the stars are, you can see where the moon is. Um, it's as bright or dim as we prefer to make it for sleeping, but you can you essentially we're sleeping under a night sky without clouds, even if it was a cloudy, overcast day. But yeah,
Alrighty. As the dome shimmers into being around you, you all experience a shift. All of you, including Gilly. You are on your back, looking up at the sky. No, it's the dome. Along the inner plane of the protective barrier, you see the twinkle of stars and a reflection of the moon as though looking at the clear sky. Beyond the lights, you can make out the shape of dark branches in the trees above, and beyond that, the true night sky. Real moon above peeks in and out of view as wispy, high altitude clouds scoot across the sky. You feel your hands idly fiddling with something cool and round, a flattish object, a pendant. You can make out the grooves beneath your thumb. It's the carving of an incense burner, which you know is the holy symbol of the Veiled One. You can hear Dusk's voice nearby, explaining the workings of the dome and expounding on the virtues of the Moon Maiden. And then you hear Ross's voice, soft with a dry current of sharp wit, followed by a confused rolling grumble from Maiev and that low, soft hum of amusement from Foggy. It's strange. You can't remember the words, just the feeling. You feel safe, cared for. You trust and are trusted. You feel this place of belonging. Home is miles behind you, but it's here too. And in the span of a breath, it's over. You are in the present. Feeling lingers, though, for a moment, like the parting after a warm hug.
we all felt that,
Including Gilly.
including Gilly.
Felt that as soon as the dome came into being, you all experienced that, and then you're just back where you were.
And like Dusk will like in the whole time that like Dusk might have had his eyes closed like while he was doing his thing, and then he experiences that and he just kind of opens up one eye and looks around at the rest of his party and just sort of is looking to make eye contact with anybody to confirm what just happened.
Yeah,
Think
Gilly's gonna be like eyeballing the dome and then like looking around like what just happened?
That's not normal to the experience.
Maya,
I mean,
like,
it's a go ahead.
I think Maya immediately, her, like, when it started, her hand flew to her chest, and it, it was a relatively instantaneous situation that occurred, and she's going to immediately fish the pendant of the veiled one out of her shirt and just kind of turn it over in her hands and inspect it.
It's a necklace. It's a nice braided leather cord and a black stone pendant, like a cameo carving with lighter gray raised areas encircled in a band of silver. It's just kind of warm, like someone was just wearing it. That's it.
Well,
That was player on crossing their legs because one of my feet fell asleep.
Way to go.
Yeah. There is a moment where Foggy does have to clear a tear off the side of the cheek, but otherwise he's fine.
these keep happening. It's going to be a very emotional journey we're on.
Keeps happening. That was what's happening? That was
Well,
and she's just turning this over in her hands and staring at her hands that are her hands, and that was weird. That it felt nice, but it was
well, I mean, something like that happened to me back at the Homestead of Joy, where I had a memory of, from Snap's perspective, kind of like we just experienced. But that's the second time today that's happened to me, and so far it seems like that's
memory.
only myself. But now you all share the same one, so interesting.
A
So wait,
memory.
I just had a memory that was Snaps's memory of something?
That would
Yep.
be yes.
So those emotions I just had were Snaps's emotions?
Yes. I think
Fascinating.
we're getting a little bit of a front row seat to Snaps's viewpoint, almost because we are retracing our steps quite a bit. It seems like we're getting some hits on significant memories of hers as things trigger them.
Oh.
You know, for me, I was being at the Homestead of Joy, and I saw something from Snap's perspective when we were there last time, and just now raising the dome, it seemed like the same thing in the memory. So who knows? Probably triggered by familiar circumstances, right?
Probably.
So either no one else has done anything similar, or I don't know, maybe I don't know. Maybe it was just luck of the draw. But it is sobering.
Mrs. Scaros did say that traveling in the gray is tied deeply with someone's memories. Maybe somehow she's sharing her experience in the gray with us?
Seemed that way to me. Can't think of a
Huh.
better
Anyone who
explanation than that.
wishes can make an Arcana or a religion check.
Arcana, baby.
Let's just
Dusk
do
and
religion.
Gilly can do so at advantage if they do religion.
Oh, that was awful.
There we go.
But I'm going to no.
30,
I'm gonna
20
let it be awful.
dirty 20 religion check for Dusk.
Cool. Fog is not in a good
Only
headspace.
17 for Gilly.
6.
3.
Right on.
10 Arcana.
Okay. Foggy and Rasa have no idea.
No.
Mayev maybe thinks that, I mean, she does remember the whole thing about the gray and something about the gray and memories, and that's a thing. Haley's like, I don't think a cleric would have, as like the words come out of their mouth, they're like, I don't maybe think a cleric has the power to do this. But Dusk kind of, it takes you a moment. You're a cleric, and so you're like, yeah, a cleric, just a regular person, wouldn't be able to initialize this. So something, it has to be something that the Veiled One has done. Starting with that vision that she gave you all. This is coming from the Veiled One in terms of the memories that are being shared. Like, they're Snap's memories, but it's the Veiled One doing the sharing of the memories
Right.
for some reason.
So we've got them. It seems to me like the Veiled One herself is delivering these hot, fresh memories right to our door whenever it seems right to do so for the maximum impact.
Okay. Okay. I think Maya's usually her nighttime routine is the tattooing thing, but I think tonight she's going to lay the Veiled One medallion like across one leg and is continuing to fiddle with the cloth, and she's trying to like, okay, a braid, that makes sense, and so she's gonna like braid some of the fabric up, and then she's just gonna try and figure out how to get it to fasten on to this stone. She is attempting wire wrapping with cloth.
Cool. This is something you're doing in the dome?
Uh-huh.
I'd like to know if Gilly's noticing.
And she's not being secretive whatsoever about it. She's probably trying to make it look like she's just keeping her hands busy, but she's not being secretive whatsoever.
And the dome is kind of small. You probably do notice.
What are you working on there, Mayev?
I think it may be like a necklace. Well, see, her Snaps' Veiled One thingy, the cord is really like strong and sturdy, and I think it's because it's braided, so that'll probably work better. So that's what I'm doing with the I cut up somebody's robe. Sorry, the the robe fabric, and I'm trying to make a necklace kind of thing.
Can I fish around in my little pouch and bag and pull out my jewelry making supplies and offer
Hell
up
yeah. Go
some wire? Yeah, so I'll just pull out a little spool of silver wire. Maybe this will be helpful.
She's gonna like look at what Gilly is offering, and then like look back at what she's trying to make and what she's comparing her work to, and back to the things, and then up at Gilly. That's fantastic. How does it work?
So Gilly's going to pull out just pick up a rock off the ground and show her how to use the wire to wrap it around a rock so that you can then, use the wire like a needle through your fabric braid and twisty twist, and then the rock will stay with the fabric braid. And then she'll hand you the spool of silver.
Thank you. She's gonna get right back to work with that. And she's gonna do it twice.
So you're making a braided cloth lanyard, and you have an amethyst that you're putting in a silver wire cage.
Yep. And I'm going to do it twice.
Okay. Okay.
It has been an additional 30 minutes since our last check-in with the mama. Are you doing good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing great. I am amazed that I am doing great.
All right.
I'm actually more comfortable here at the desk than I have been on the sofa all darn day.
Oh,
That's wild.
I think it's the way I perched on the back of my thighs instead of sitting full on my bottom.
That's possible.
well. Foggy's gonna get a little bit quiet. Internally, if you don't mind, Mama.
I don't know
Hey,
what you mean by that, but okay.
hey, Karak. You
Oof,
doing okay?
oof. Just an acknowledgement of your inquiry,
Mm-hmm.
non-committal.
Yeah. I've been putting on a brave face all day, in part because there's hope now. Um, but that last flash of whatever the hell that was, I'm not doing great. And I'm feeling an urge to just kind of request time to myself and sort of be by myself and sort of isolate. But the rest of these people still need us. Can I just ask that you pilot for a day or two? I need time alone.
Wow. You are asking Kurok to take the reins of the body.
In the way that we have been doing, in the sense that I will sort of just say, yeah, whatever you think we need to be doing right now, in the same way that previously he just ran and I just sort of went with it. I'm
Yeah.
asking him to manage that for like a day or two.
So you're not asking him to rage or change form, but rather stay shaped like Foggy and just drive the bus.
Yeah, just for a day or two. He needs a minute
Okay.
to, yeah.
The emotion that pours over you, because Rock doesn't communicate with you in words.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion that pours over you is one of compassion and an effort to make you feel safe and comforted and protected.
Thank you, buddy. I know you're probably not taking this super well either, but I'm not taking it well at all. Thank you.
Intellectually, you're aware. Yeah, intellectually, you're aware that Kurok is less attached to snaps than you are, but obviously fond of the whole party deeply and is experiencing loss, just not quite as acutely as you are.
Right. I just wanted him to know that I'm aware of that. And still, thank you. And if
Oof.
anybody's looking at Foggy, there would be a moment where they just watch his eyes change.
Sorry, the last one got me.
I have no idea how to drive this thing, but I'll figure it out.
God damn it!
I do not have a license to drive this
I
thing.
just saw all three of these gifts. I have to. I have to. God damn it! All right, YouTube, you're taking another detour over to the Discord. A head poking out of the back seat.
Like, you want me to do what?
You want me to be up there? All right, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Lord above.
Now I have to know what Foggy's trance looks like tonight. Does he curl up in a ball?
It's like, Foggy, why are you kicking?
Circle around 3 times.
Damn it! Fucking beat me to it. Fuck. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's like running in his sleep. What's going on?
Oh, Lord. That was all I wanted.
Okay.
Ah.
Obviously, you are going to drive.
Yeah.
I'm not actually going to Jaeger you.
Yeah, I know.
You just know
I
that you're now under control by Kurok. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I've been thinking about this for obviously several weeks, about how I'm
Mhm.
gonna handle this moment. But I've been thinking about this. I've got a plan.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
The Foggy is still aware, right?
Yes. He's just
Okay.
essentially
In the passenger seat.
perma-disassociating in a way that his body is still able to function.
He's laying in the back seat.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay.
Translates
Um,
into dog.
okay. Doing something. Mayev, go ahead
Yeah.
and roll me a Momdar.
All right.
I don't know what that is.
I think we decided it was wisdom based.
I know it's wisdom based. I don't know what
I feel like insight would be a
I'm
pretty
trying to
good
determine
cover.
something.
It's like a perception.
Hold on.
ins-
Hold on. I have proficiency. What does this
Yeah, I was gonna say in my head it's wisdom plus proficiency.
mean? I can use snaps just or Ash, whatever. Take that number and
God.
just hold it for just a second. I'm looking at something.
Yep.
I'm
Nope.
trying to
I
remember
gotcha.
which one is Rasa and which one is Ayla. Because I
Mhm.
I gotcha.
proficiency.
It's
So
clear there's
we
been a
have
side
yet
conversation going
to-
on.
Yeah,
Now.
we have yet to fully
Psychic knack.
discern because I
yeah.
think it is probably a little situational as to whether or not it's like insight or perception or whatever.
I bolstered back.
Doesn't
I'd say
really
insight.
matter. Okay. It's an 18.
Okay.
Both of them have the +0, so it doesn't really matter. But
Skill or
Hold
cool.
please.
Are
Skill.
these
You said it was an 18?
18.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to be able to beat that 18 though.
For
Hold on.
my amethyst die.
If you
You
fail,
failed.
it doesn't like.
Yep. I have to figure out what's my thingy. So I do have that
Hold for
option.
math
so
and
I
character
roll another-
abilities.
Yeah,
Mhm.
character, and well, it sucks when you have two characters that are basically the same.
Yeah.
And trying to remember which one is which.
I'm about to
It's not
step
gonna
into
make
that mess tomorrow.
because the max I can roll is a 15. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Mayev.
Mhm.
Nice try.
do you want
And
me to do
Mayev,
that?
you're just gonna notice
Okay.
that this morning, I mean, since you first came across her this morning, she's been kinda somber. And then
Mhm.
there was a moment on the road where her mood sort of lowered again a little bit, and she put her hand on her dagger. And then here in the dome, she's just you're noticing Rasa's down, is what you're noticing.
Okay. Um, I think I will have finished up the first of the 2 necklaces, and I'll just kind of like scooch up over next to Rasa and just kind of do the mom thing of I'm right here if you need me, and just kind of ever so slightly lean into her. Like, I'm not gonna press because I know that emotions are not her favorite thing, but I am going to make sure that I am physically right there and just leaned into her a little bit should she decide however, whatever, if ever she wants to do or say or anything.
Ross is going to start up a whisper with you.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
Secrets, they're no fun.
Oh, whether or not Maya can keep what's going on in her head or not?
Oh no. For the record, I cannot see what she's typing.
So yeah, Maya, are you going to roll some sort of deception check if you're trying to keep that to yourself?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love when there's secret D&D happening.
There's a second
Oh,
game
fuck,
of D&D
no.
going on.
No, this second game of D&D is plastered all over Maev's face with a deception of 6.
Oh boy.
So whether that means that Maya forgets to talk back in head.
Yeah, probably.
Like, what the? This is like while we're in the dome still, or?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Apparently
I think
nobody could sleep.
It probably starts out as a response in your head, and then it gets that weird stereo thing as she starts talking out loud at the same time. We can't. It's no. It's not. That's not. That can't be what it is. It's not. No, because the veiled one said, and we're gonna fix it. And she just kind of throws her arm around you.
Everybody fully confused.
Yeah, Illy's hearing it, but not. It doesn't translate into any kind of meaning for her. She's just like, okay.
Nobody's gonna say nothing. Okay.
Well,
Fuck, Karok's not touching that. I know Foggy's not.
Karok ain't touching that with a fucking 90-foot pole.
Nope.
yeah, I'll just look to
You do you,
Dusk.
man.
Yeah, Gilly's just gonna look to Dusk like, dude, do you have any idea what's happening here?
Maya, are you talking to somebody? Did somebody message you?
What? No. What are you talking about, Dusk?
Are you talking to yourself? I don't.
Yeah, I do that all the time, Dusk. I do it
That's
all the
true.
time. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. You're doing the dome thing. Go to sleep.
You know, I'm almost too tired to insight check that, but I think that's going to be a little concerned given all the shenanigans going on. So Dusk is going to insight check Maev here. So are we going to do this the way that, like, you
Roll.
can roll persuasion or deception? I'm assuming you'd be trying to deceive me, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
totally
I
trying
mean,
to
that was
deceive you because I
I
got
would
a
say
+1 to
deception.
that.
Okay. Well, my insight check is going to be
15
11.
million. 11.
Oh,
11.
just 11. All right,
Yeah.
that's fine. I got a 4.
Oh.
This isn't the story we were trying to tell tonight, Dice. You know?
Deception is not working for anybody. Like maybe take that lesson. Be honest with your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Dusk will be like, my, who are you
Oh,
talking about?
what?
No,
Not,
really. When you talk to yourself, you have a different tone. You're
oh,
meaner to
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. And it's usually an orc. Damn it!
Who are
And
you trying to comfort?
she's just gonna kind of like squeeze Rasa a little bit and go, sorry.
Oh,
Just kind of lock eyes with Dusk, and
okay.
the veiled one said, as long as we do this within the time in the gray, that they can fix it. And
Right.
if we can't, then Snaps ends up with her forever.
Okay. Well,
Just
Fine, if we're gonna
reminding
air it out.
everyone.
And she kind of glares a little at Maya. What if this is the Veiled One's way of getting Maya back home?
bite my
Or getting Snaps back home. And these flashes are her way of helping us say goodbye.
Dusk will contemplate that for a minute. Here, he's just gonna be quiet. And he'll just look at Rasa and he will say, "Then I will cherish every step of this journey, even if it ends with that outcome." It's not a burden. Not to me.
I'm trying to be hopeful.
I understand. You raise a good point, not gonna lie. But this is where taking that whole leap of faith thing comes in, I think. And we'll just see where the journey takes us.
I'm not going to make you roll again. We're just gonna build off of that 30-20 that religion that you got earlier. I mean, you're Snap's friend, and you're into the whole cleric business, and you listen to what Snaps has to say, and it does occur to you that life is actually important to Snaps, to the Veiled One, like defending life, but also to kind of borrow from Critical Role. Death needs things to live, to kind of bastardize the quote. Life
I
is
love
kind of
that
a
quote.
prerequisite
Jesus.
for death.
I
um,
love
and
life needs life to live or something like that. Or
yeah, life needs things to live. Um, Death needs things to live. Uh, you need to live before you can experience, you know, death and whatever comes after. So in your faith and just knowing what you know about snaps, I think you do know that, or maybe you just have the faith that giving Snaps a second chance of life at life is important here to the Veiled One.
Right. And for what it's worth, I don't think the Veiled One is going to run the. I mean, while it may be important to have her ashes taken care of, or her remains or something to her people, I don't know if the Veiled One is going to interfere with us so directly in order just to get to be essentially a delivery, parcel group. But and above all, I think this is restoring life that shouldn't have been, perhaps. There's some sort of grander plan at work, and we're just helping restore the balance. Such is the Veiled One's purview. But I can understand your
That was a big
pessimism.
word. That was a bunch of big words.
Yeah. I'm tired. I'm throwing them out there. Working off of, however little sleep Dusk is. But yeah, Dusk will say, yeah. I mean, it's completely natural to feel the way. I'm gonna say, you know, you the point you bring up is certainly one of it's a very practical thing, right? And maybe in some ways we are doing those things, but maybe there's a reason beyond that will help us and help Snaps, more importantly. I do too. I do too. But like I said, even if this is all for naught, if we're gonna get a little bit of these little nuggets of memory along the way, just to kind of see things from Snap's perspective, I think that's worth it. It's lovely in that bittersweet kind of way.
It's not goodbyes, it's see you soon.
Right, right, you are. These are just postcards from the other side.
Lily's
Well,
going to drop her 2 cents on this and just point out that they aren't very familiar with the Veiled One. And Tabaxi religion in general is foreign to Gilly. But the reason that it is foreign to Gilly is it is not widespread. It is not, it has not spread beyond the Tabaxi culture very much. And so even knowledge of the Veiled One is uncommon in the world. And therefore, the number of champions that the Veiled One must have to act on her behalf in the material plane must be very finite and small. And it seems logical to Gilly that the Veiled One would like to sustain as many champions as she may have, and then realizes that they realize they're not being all that eloquent, but hopes that the point was made.
you're probably right. Gilly. Very insightful of you. And realizing he just complimented Gilly, he's kind of like, oh, wait, did I just step into it
Wait,
again?
they don't like being complimented.
Right? No, you have a very good point. So, yes, like I said, I think it's no small thing for a god to be like, hey, you people who just got thrashed by a dragon, and a person riding on the dragon, go run across the continent and do this thing, right? But as a bonus, you get your friend back. I get the champion back. So hey, it's a win-win for everybody.
Sure would be cool if Smiley could just swoop down and fly us over there.
Or if we could like turn into giant eagles or something and fly the way there. That would be rad.
I wonder if Harold. And she's gonna just start mumbling to herself about her husband and the various. She's running through the various animals she's seen him turn into. Well, no, that one doesn't fly, and one wasn't big enough for anybody to ride except for the kids, small kids.
Yeah. The mention of giant eagle will have Gilly kind of twitching. Yeah, I could do that. But I can't carry all of you people. On the inside, not saying anything out loud.
All right. Is that it for the evening?
How does Foggy go to sleep?
I assume there is genuinely like a couple of minutes of maybe not a literal spinning in 3 circles moment, but there's probably a good couple of minutes of figuring out how to get comfortably into some form of pseudo fetal position to be doing it laying down rather than seated.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
And is he sleeping or trancing?
Trancing.
Okay.
No, Karak would probably sleep. You've got a point.
All right.
Foggy doesn't mind sleeping, so he's fine with
And
it either way.
I don't think any of
and
us
so the
realize that
second day,
Rock is now at the wheel. Dusk should have turned. What about you, Foggy? You good? Oh. Anyway.
all right, so everybody goes to bed, and the second day comes to a close. You do not experience the dream again. It's still very easy for you to remember if you choose to. It's not like haunting you, but you will all wake up in the morning a little while after, maybe a little bit after the dome drops, since there was some activity after the dome was put up. But there's some clouds to the south, but they're kind of rolling away, and the sky above is pretty clear. And we are in we said close to the Calamite Pass, in the Calamite Pass?
You are exiting the Calamite Pass.
Exiting the Calamite Pass.
Oh.
So actually, as you wake up, there's kind of a blast of warm air from the north that kind of flows over you when the dome falls.
Oh shit, my laptop is about to die.
So essentially, you have 49 and a half miles to go to get to Dracot. 39.5 divided by 3 is 16 and a half hours.
Sorry.
So 2 days.
Yep.
When we look at this map, by the way, that that vision took you up to the eastern face of, if you look up at the upper right-hand corner, the eastern face of this mountain. I did not choose that mountain. The DM chose that mountain. I said, "Oh, the temple could be in a little valley somewhere." And the DM said, "We're going to put it on the biggest mountain in the range." And I said, "Yes, ma'am."
Is-
Sorry.
Are we prepared for cold weather?
I don't think we.
That's how
We did
far
not.
we're going to go.
We didn't really have the time to wait for a tailor to make us all winter coats, though.
Okie dokie.
And it is summer, but yeah, there's snow up in those mountains, even in the
We'll
summer.
see if there's anybody at Draco selling winter coats. You don't need it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Alrighty. Do we do anything in the morning before hitting the road?
We haven't rolled any wisdom saving throws.
Yeah,
Is
that's a
that
good point.
is that a deliberate thing or is it just oopsie thing?
I have
We
not
do know
called for
that
any wisdom saving throws.
Okay.
we know somebody's still out there. Maybe he's too scared to look.
You fucking better be.
Yeah. Fuck
Maybe
up.
died.
Is Dusk looking for anything in the mornings?
Yeah, Dusk has sort
Occurred
of
to
back
him
and
this
forth
morning?
remembering that. Oh yeah, there was somebody was watching us, and he hasn't really felt like that tingle sensation that maybe being aware of it. But he's gonna go ahead and cast the invisibility this morning just to see, just in case.
Noted.
I'm assuming he sees nothing, Mama.
Where you looking?
Damn you.
Well, the usual places around us, up and down. Just looking for that little ball that indicates that somebody is watching us. Yeah, I'll
Yeah, no
scan.
little ball.
I'll scan the sky up above us, not below us, but around us, perimeter.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, in the far distance. That bird in the far distance
what?
looks weird
What?
and seem there's a bird.
There's a bird.
Well, it looks like a bird. It's pretty far away, but it's
Is
getting bigger really kind of fast, and it's
oh,
coming at you from over the desert. It's getting a little bit bigger and a little bit like it's coming at you pretty quick.
everybody, hello. Do you see what I'm seeing? Coming, and he pointing in the sky
Hmm?
towards towards where I'm seeing this thing coming from.
Yeah, coming
Anybody
from the valley of the sands toward you.
pointing
And
out over the?
yeah, nobody else is seeing anything at this
I'm
point.
like, oh well, we have company coming in hot.
Um, 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 okay. And just like trying to, fully wake up and make sure I've got everything that I could need at the ready to
And just kind of
defend.
connecting, maybe like in a brief moment of like, wait, last time we were here in the desert, last time I used this spell, I saw our friend Smiley, as we affectionately call him. Um, and I'm just gonna like strain my eyes to see if I can determine if that's the same thing flying towards us.
Yeah, as it's getting closer,
Sorry.
you're realizing, yeah, that there is a reflective glint like sunlight off of metal
Okay.
as it approaches.
Are these back?
It certainly seems that way. So maybe Lady Rosso, I believe we might be
Uh,
preparing to depart with whatever it is in there, the egg,
I'm gonna
right?
just like stand Ross up and dust her off and turn to Gilly like her. So she stands Rossa up and dusts her off and makes sure she's all nice and pretty and clean and whips around to Gilly and goes, "You're gonna get to meet Smiley. She's great."
Well, now
Smiley?
Smiley's invisible.
Wait, what?
Well, yeah, there's a big. I mean, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
You're safe.
And
Smiley is my dragon pal, and I really hope they're back.
Well, we'll find out here in a
uh,
minute.
Gilly's just going to snap their fingers, do a little bit of druid craft, and create a campfire. I'll just warm up some breakfast while you all figure out what smiling is smiling. Smiley is smile. I don't know. I'm going to make some food, okay?
Perfect.
And Gilly's just going to go focus on making some breakfast for everybody.
Does it look like Gilly is just heating up stuff that they've brought with them, or does Gilly look like they're also getting ready to hunt creatures?
I'm going to say Gilly brought some eggs, and they're
Okay,
just going to cook up some eggs.
gotcha.
I think because we were in the dome and it's such close quarters that we all probably clocked the strangeness of Foggy
Oh yeah,
going
and
to
he's not
sleep.
trying to hide the fact that his trance looked weird today, and in fact, it was very much more like sleep than trance. Even though normally in the dome he would trance, and he's not like deliberately keeping his eyes closed, and his eyes are red and yellow right now.
And so upon, whirling back to uh, continue to turn Veracity, even though I know she hates it, I'm going to just like stop mid turn and spin back to Foggy and just and ruffle his hair.
He leans into it a little bit and shakes his head, and
Mm-hmm. Give him a little scratch behind the ears.
Yes.
Um, right. So yes. Oh, and yes, it's Asterinian. Asterinian.
Mysterinian.
Asterinian. Okay, they'll just await Asterinian's arrival here.
After a couple of minutes, the full-sized adult metallic dragon gets close enough that you can tell, oh, yep, that's Smiley. And if you continue to direct everyone's attention in the right direction, eventually the grin will be visible to those who know what they're looking for. And we're just going to leave Gilly focused on cooking so that I don't have to deal with that.
Okay.
Perfect.
valid.
Roscoe would probably try to take a little space somewhat away from the rest of them, just in case he wanted to come down and have a discussion.
How long does the invisibility last?
See, invisibility lasts.
Like an hour, I think.
It's a
Yeah,
while.
so you're going to see this, within a matter of 10 minutes, that bird in the distance became a dragon, which I can never remember whether it's brass or copper, but one of those.
Brass.
Is it brass?
Brass.
Came into
She's a
full
copper
view.
fairy dragon, but a brass dragon.
Dragon. So Dusk is the only one that's going to see as the brass dragon approaches and gets closer and closer. It shrinks and gets smaller and smaller and shifts to a copper color and gets to be the size of a house cat and alights on the sand in front of wherever it is Rasa went. And then again, Dusk is the only one seeing it. You all saw the smile disappear. And then this little fairy dragon that landed in the sand in front of Rasa will slowly morph and change shape and become the same height as Rasa and shaped like an elegant woman who then becomes visible to everyone, ending in front of Rasa.
Okay.
She's not a bush this time.
You see
Oh,
a
okay.
female woman-looking person.
Hello again.
Good morning. I did not actually write or prepare this conversation because I had forgotten the timing of it, so I'm not going to be as eloquent as the previous conversation. I would like you to just imagine the stately way she normally speaks to you.
I will also
And
say that it is almost midnight too, though. So
yeah,
if we also want to
You
just,
want to do this at the next session?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Why don't we do
Yeah.
that? That way I can
Yeah,
take
just
the
write it
time
next
to
session.
write it nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds like
cool.
a great moment to.
Oh, I just dropped my pen and wrote all over my leg.
Oh, nice.
That's usually my Ev shtick.
To myself.
Righty, we will start the next session
talking
with a
to
conversation
Smiley.
between Rasa and Smiley.
Talking to Smiley.
All right.
All right.
All right. Good night, YouTube.
Good night, YouTube.
Good night, YouTube.
Good night,
Night,
YouTube.
YouTube.